For this project, I chose to teach a 5-day consecutive unit on non-fictional writing. Because students in kindergarten are just learning the basics of writing, non-fictional writing seems like a stretch. Many of my students have never heard of the term non-fiction and wouldn't be able to tell you what it meant. Not only did I want my students to know the meaning of non-fiction and fiction, but I also wanted them to gain confidence in their writing abilities. The first lesson is about introducing the terms fiction and nonfiction to my kindergarten ELL students. This lesson took about 40 minutes to implement with my small group, and here I will show you the highlights. I discussed with my students that fiction means make-believe and nonfiction means real. We looked at the cover of several books to figure out if we thought it was fiction or nonfiction. After discussing the terms fiction and nonfiction with the students, we watched a BrainPop Jr. video entitled Reading Nonfiction. I love integrating these BrainPop videos into my lessons because they're always very informative and use language that the students can understand. This video gave us a great definition of the word nonfiction.
Nonfiction writing is about real people, places, or events. It shares information and facts to help explain things. Newspapers, magazines, and textbooks are all kinds of nonfiction. And biographies are nonfiction books that tell you about someone's life.
When the BrainPop Jr. video was over, we did a quick whole class assessment about the video. I like using these assessments provided by BrainPop because it's a quick way for me to assess their immediate knowledge of what the students just viewed. After the assessment, we discussed how to discriminate between fiction and nonfiction. I gave the students a book to look through and then asked them about the story, if they thought it was a fiction story or a nonfiction story.
Hi, Josue. Do you like the book you have?
Yes.
Yeah? Is it a real book? Is it fiction? Is it real?
Yes.
Or is it nonfiction or is it fiction?
Fiction.
Fiction. Why is it fiction?
It's not real.
It's not real? Do you think that ducks could really build things like that duck is doing on the front cover? Do you think a duck could really build something? No. That's right. Thank you.
I then read aloud a nonfiction book about cheetahs to the small group. They were very excited to learn about cheetahs, as most of them do not have any prior knowledge of this animal. By reading the story to them, I introduced them to new vocabulary words while also exposing them to nonfiction literature. Here are two of the students sharing about a nonfiction book.
What book do you have there? Can I see the front? Is that a fiction book or a nonfiction book? Nonfiction, because why? About real cheetahs. So there's like real facts and information inside the book? Okay, thank you. What book do you have there?
Panda bear.
Panda bears. Is that story a fiction story or a non-fiction story?
Not fiction.
Is non-fiction? Yes. Why is it non-fiction?
Why not real?
It's all real? What's inside of it, the book is real information? Show us some pictures on the inside so I know it's real. What does the story talk about on the inside?
Panda bear.
What are they doing? What do they do?
Eating.
So this is a non-fiction book all about pandas.
After reading the nonfiction book about cheetahs, I wanted to read Pum Quack Moo to the students. Yes, this book is in Spanish. I wanted to read it in Spanish for my students so that they could understand the story in their native language. We discussed that this book was fiction because it was about make-believe animals. The second lesson is about reviewing the body parts vocabulary terms and writing a nonfiction piece about them. I did this lesson with my kindergarten ELL students. This lesson took about 45 minutes to implement with my small group, and here I will show you the highlights. We reviewed the many names of our body parts: our head, our ears, nose, mouth, hands, fingers, arms, legs, feet, body, toes, and the rest. I found out that the majority of my students did not know the correct names of their body parts when they entered my class at the beginning of kindergarten. The correct names of body parts is something we've been reviewing all year.
I've got 2 hands, I can clap, clap. I've got 2 knees, I can tap, tap. I've got 2 legs, I can march, march.
Wasn't that fun? My students enjoy the My Whole Body Can Move song by Jack Hartman because it integrates movement while reviewing the names of each body part. After reviewing the names of the body parts, I showed this video to the kids to get some physical movement in to review the names of their body parts again. You can never have enough review. I then read aloud the Busy Body book to my students. This is an excellent story to encourage exercise and also review the names of the body parts. We discussed that the story is considered nonfiction because it tells us real information about our bodies. After several minutes of review, students got out their writing journals and began to write 1 to 3 nonfiction sentences about their body parts. I wanted them to focus only on their bodies so that they were challenged to write on one topic. Students were encouraged to write at least 3 nonfiction sentences about their body parts. I also reminded them of the spacing between words, correct punctuation, and using uppercase letters at the beginning of their sentences. Not all of the students were able to write 3 correct nonfiction sentences. One of my students only wrote 1 sentence, but I am pleased with this because he is new to the country and new to the English language. Here is a video of one of the students sharing their nonfiction sentences about their body parts.
I have mouth. I have 2 eyes. I have 1 head. I have 1 nose. I have ears. I have legs.
Very good.
The progression of the 5-day unit was very successful. Students use abcmouse.com to listen to nonfiction stories about animals they're interested in. Like I mentioned before, any opportunities to integrate technology into my lesson are always taken. Here is a list of ideas that we thought about when we were getting into our nonfiction animal writing. Here is the brainstorming map that we created when we were thinking about which animal we would write nonfiction sentences about. Students chose 3 different animals to learn more about and would write nonfiction pieces to share with their peers. The small group definitely had favorites among the animals they were learning about. The zebra, cheetah, and panda were the most popular animals for the students to write about. As I monitored and conferred with students, they did an excellent job of coming up with the information and verbally telling me nonfiction sentences that they could write. Here are a few of the students sharing their nonfiction writing about an animal.
The cheetah in orange and black.
Can you show me your picture that you made? It's all about your cheetah. Cheetah's orange and black. Runs fast. Thank you.
The panda is black and white. The panda is so soft.
Can you show me?
Panda is black and white. The panda is good, big, and the panda is good, small.
Can you show me your writing that you made about pandas?
Cheetah, black, orange, black, yellow,
Can you show me your picture of the cheetah? Thank you.